What's going on, everybody? Kieran O'Brien here. Welcome back to my channel. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how I literally sold everything. And no, the title is not clickbait. I literally sold pretty much everything that I own. And I'm going to be talking in this video about why and about what's next. All right, so let's quickly break down what exactly did I sell. When I say that I sold everything, obviously I'm still wearing clothes and I still own, a camera and a laptop and things of that nature. So what exactly did I sell? So I pretty much sold everything in my life that had any sort of big ticket value attached to it. And so, for example, I got rid of my apartment about 4 months ago. I sold all of my cars. I actually sold multiple businesses. One of them, as you guys know from one of my previous videos, was Media Kits, which was a venture-backed software company that I started about 2 years ago with my business partner, Casey. And I actually started another micro SaaS company as well over the last few months that I also recently sold. So multiple companies. I also sold all of my investments. So all of my investments in the stock market, all of my investments in crypto, I liquidated all of it. And I also sold multiple other assets that I owned. I sold my Rolex that I had for a while that you guys may have seen either here on this channel or on my other social media. I also sold my Instagram and TikTok pages. Again, if you guys are OG followers of my YouTube channel, you'll know that I've been running theme pages on Instagram and on TikTok for many years now. It's been kind of like a side income or side hustle that I've been doing for a long time. And I actually sold every single page that I owned. And so before I jump into why I sold these things, let's talk about what I actually still have. So as you can see behind me, I'm here in beautiful Bali, Indonesia. And if you're curious about what my kind of day-to-day life looks like here in Bali, I've actually been living here for a little over a month and a half now, and I'm here for another 2 or 3 months. And if you guys are curious about that, I actually just uploaded a vlog on this channel that was kind of like a day in the life showing, what I'm doing here on a day-to-day basis. Now, I didn't move to Bali permanently. I'm only here for a few months. I will be moving back to the US in a couple months, like I said. But in terms of what I still own back in the US, I do have a car. I have a $5,000 Volkswagen Jetta that's kind of my daily driver that I still own. And I do have a storage unit with things that didn't really make sense to sell because I'll eventually be getting a house or an apartment sometime down the line. So I have a storage unit with things like my couch and my TV and things of that nature that I just didn't want to deal with selling. So let's jump into kind of the meat of this video, which is the obvious question: why did I sell everything? And I think it kind of breaks down into 2 different buckets. There's the financial side, and then there's the stuff side. And so in terms of financial, let's talk about the things that I sold that had more of a financial gain. So the companies that I sold, the investments that I sold, etc. And so I believe for the company specifically with Media Kits and the other smaller software company that I sold, for those decisions, it was much more of kind of a market timing and kind of an opportunity meets preparation type of situation. And so both companies found the right buyer at the right time that just simply made sense. And that's why I sold them. And it's kind of serendipitous that this all kind of happened right when I believe that the market kind of peaked, right when we all kind of realized that there was potentially a recession happening and that things might not be looking very good in the long term. And so that's why right around the same time that I sold these 2 businesses, I also went ahead and sold all of my investments. I sold all of my stock holdings, and as you guys know, I've been a big fan of Tesla stock over the last many years. Quite frankly, I didn't think that I would ever sell my Tesla stock, but in September, I did sell pretty much all of my Tesla stock holdings at about $311 per share. I did make a big chunk of profit on that sale. However, obviously, it's down significantly since all-time highs, but I am happy with the sale because I sold at $311, and I think it's now at like $120 or $130. Obviously, I've stopped keeping track because I'm no longer a shareholder, but I pretty much liquidated all of my stock portfolio, the majority of it being Tesla stock. And of course, I also sold my crypto about 4 or 5 months ago as well, right around the time that the markets began to crash. And so I think that as far as timing the markets goes, I just kind of felt like we were at the top. We were at kind of the beginning of the bubble starting to pop, as well as the fact that moving into a recession, you kind of want to be as liquid as possible. And so that was kind of my objective. Alongside selling these 2 businesses, I wanted to get as much liquidity from other sources as possible so I could go into my next venture and the next couple years as liquid as possible. Now, kind of the other reason why I sold things, and this is more so I'm talking about the cars and the apartment and like the physical items, was just the clutter, the stuff, right? When you have multiple cars and you have all these things that are tying you down, like an apartment to physical or geographic location, it makes it a lot harder to make lateral movements in life. And at one point, I think 8 or 9 months ago, I actually owned 4 different vehicles. And there's just absolutely no reason for that. I'm living on my own. There's absolutely no reason that I need 4 cars. And so part of this was actually so I can do things like come to Bali for 4 months. I'm not worrying about dead batteries or my cars being stolen or any of that stuff. And of course, I have all the money from selling the cars sitting in my bank account now that I can do other things with. I can rent nice villas here in Bali and live a really high quality of life here in Indonesia. And so there's a lot of reasons why just getting rid of the stuff feels really great, and I'm really happy with it so far. And like I said, I will be getting another apartment or potentially buying a home in the next couple years, depending on what the markets do. I will probably be buying another supercar at some point in the next couple months or years, again, depending on what the markets look like. So most importantly, and what I hope that you guys can take away from this video as I'm talking about why I made these decisions, is just creating a fresh start for myself. Both personally and professionally, selling the company that was kind of my life's work up until this point in my career, and also, my lease expiring in the city that I'd spent the last 4 years, pretty much my entire adulthood living in, which was Scottsdale, Arizona. It really felt like a fresh start on, again, both the professional and the personal side of my life. And so kind of selling everything, starting over, a new leaf, a fresh start, if you will. And then even on top of that, on top of selling my company, moving to a new city, selling everything I own, I also moved to an entire new country. And so I kind of went to the most extreme end with this, but I think it's really important in some way, shape, or form for you to create a fresh start in life as often as possible. Switching your perspective and seeing things through a different lens is oftentimes the best way to grow as a person. And this is kind of carrying across into what I'm doing now, which is starting a new venture, which I'll jump into here in a moment. So the final point that I want to touch on here is having a singular focus. And for the last few years, I've always heard this. I've always heard, tunnel vision, have a singular focus, don't do side hustles, don't split your attention in a bunch of different directions. And quite frankly, I haven't really listened to that advice. I've always been one to kind of get distracted and try different things. And so for me, I wanted to take this opportunity with this kind of fresh start that I'd created for myself, and I wanted to take the opportunity to actually go all in on one thing and have a singular focus and chase after that kind of tunnel vision and not worry about the Instagram pages and the service that my car needs or the little software company that I started just for fun on a weekend once. And so there's all these things that used to be distractions in my life that are suddenly just gone, and it allows me to have a singular and utter focus on just one thing. And that one thing is the new project that I'm working on, the new company that I've started since I've been here in Bali. I'm really excited to reveal it to you guys at some point in the next couple months here. And of course, I will be talking about it here on my YouTube channel, but you guys are gonna have to wait on that one. And so my closing thoughts here are, again, try to create a fresh start for yourself. Try to sell those things that are creating clutter either in your mind or in your life physically as often as you possibly can. I think it's really important as humans to create these types of fresh starts in our lives because it really helps you shift perspective. It allows you to travel a bit easier as well when you're not worried about what's going on back home. And of course, travel is one of the best ways to get a new perspective on life as well. And so with that being said, guys, I am trying to upload a bit more on YouTube, but by the same token, as I just mentioned, I do have a singular focus on my new company, my new venture. So what I can promise you guys is I'm gonna upload here on YouTube when I feel like it. I'm gonna upload here on YouTube when I feel inspired, when I have a video idea that I think is going to resonate with you guys, and you guys are just gonna have to wait and see how that shakes out. If building this new company is interesting and I'm able to create the time to sit down and film some videos like this, I'm going to do it as often as I can. However, it's not the main focus that I have in my life currently. Now, as far as the second business that I sold, the little micro SaaS software company, I will be talking about that actually in my very next YouTube video, so stay tuned for that as well. I think you guys are really gonna find it interesting, especially my OG followers who have been running marketing agencies and who are kind of familiar with the space. I think you guys are gonna find it especially interesting. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you'll consider some of the thoughts that I presented in this video to implement some of them perhaps into your own life. And I wish you guys the best. I hope you guys have a great new year, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.